foreign workers in dormitories are still making up the bulk of the new cases, and their welfare continues to be of concern to all of us. We're joined by Mr. Bernard Menon, Executive Director of Advocacy Group Migrant Workers Centre. Now, Bernard, despite some complaints, the bigger dorms seem to have many safe distancing measures in place. What about factory converted dorms, though, as well as those living at construction sites and other areas? These smaller, more isolated groups, are they slipping through the cracks? What are the concerns for the various groups and what is being done?
Okay, so the challenge for these smaller dormitory operations and facilities is that uh, some can be very small. There's a wide range. They can house anywhere from 10 people to over 900 people. And the other challenge is that there are about 1,000, more than 1,100 of these facilities, and they're scattered all over the island. So the logistical exercise in trying to manage COVID-19 related challenges is just exacerbated, magnified by the fact that they're so scattered. Having said that, I think the Migrant Workers Centre discussion with, of course, the government authorities and in partnership with many other ground-up outfits and NGOs, we've decided to focus our attention on the smaller dormitory facilities. These 1,100 odd housing facilities. I think managing COVID-19 related challenges, the priority for everyone concerned is to ensure that the basic, most urgent, immediate needs of the workers first addressed, and then only then we can start to direct attention towards safe distancing, watching your health, washing your hands, going to see a doctor, escalating it to medical professionals as soon as possible if you display any of the symptoms, challenges like those. So, addressing the basic essential needs, urgent needs, I think what we've done is among all the organizations, we've kind of fanned ourselves out. Each organization taking charge of a particular area. In that respect, the Migrant Workers Centre, we've taken on the provision of essential items like laundry detergent, bath soap, hand sanitizers, toothbrush kits, shaving kits. These are all essential items that, without getting them addressed, it will be very difficult for the migrant workers not being able to keep themselves clean, showers, do those things. Very difficult for them to start concentrating on other things like safe distance, watching their health, washing their hands, and things like that. We have a partner organization, the Alliance of Guest Workers Outreach, that are working with us to handle all the emergency catering needs of migrant workers in instances where maybe their employers or their dormitory operators have not made arrangements for their catering and their food. We've also partnered with other organizations, other NGOs also, to go in and give like emotional, psychological counseling, and other basic needs. And the hope is that in helping the dormitory operators would tend to be of a smaller scale as compared to the bigger dormitories, help them deal and address such issues and they will be able to then help workers that stay in their dormitories to start implementing measures on safe distancing and all those things I mentioned earlier.
Right. Well, Bernard, as of yesterday, 25 dorms were gazetted as isolation areas. Now, we spoke to another advocacy group, TWC2, last week on what more could be done. They suggested reducing the density of workers in each room, but building alternative accommodation and various related logistics also take time. So what do you think can be done in the meantime, especially more immediate measures?
Yeah, so I think you hit the nail on the head there. What needs to be done now, what is most urgent now, and that is what most of us are directing our attention. So like I said, on the essential items, on the food and catering, the boys in the migrant workers in the dormitories, the larger dorms, especially the gazetted dorms, I think it's common knowledge that a multi-agency government task force. It's looking after the needs in those bigger dorms. A coalition, a partnership of NGOs and ground-up initiatives playing their part also to help address some of these same issues in the smaller type of facilities. But I think the important thing is, we came out of SARS, and very soon after, Foreign Employees Dormitories Act was enacted. And these standards for housing for migrant worker brothers have continued to be evolved over time, improved over time. So this includes spatial requirements for each worker, sanitary facilities, cleaning facilities, spa facilities, recreational facilities. All these things, if you track changes in the laws through time, especially over the last maybe 5-7 years, key improvements have been made to basic standards, so they've continued to be placed over time. Many of these changes actually came into play because we remembered SARS. And I think one of the things many people don't really know of is the fact COVID-19 is really very unprecedented in the way it operates, in the way it's very, very easily, very, very quickly. And perhaps the way our dormitories were shaped not factor a fast-spreading virus like that. It's not to say that they did not have its fair share of pandemic response measures as requirements based on dormitory operators. I'm sure, as like in the case of SARS, when we come out of this, I'm sure we will, if we stay together, united. When we come out of this, I'm sure there will be lessons and there will be more changes and improvements made. Most importantly, we need to focus on what's most urgent now, on taking care of the migrant workers in the dormitories, regardless of what dormitory type they live in, and helping them as much as we can, and making sure that look after them and together with us as a community, we all make through COVID-19.
Yeah, definitely. Now, Bernard, the Straits Times visited 3 dorms this week, including Singapore's largest active cluster, S11 dormitory at Punggol. The journalist spoke to some of the workers. Have you had a word with them as well? How are they coping in this difficult time?
Okay, so myself and a team of my colleagues, we were actually at S11 for 3 days after it was gazetted. One of the key reasons why we were there, even before the gazetting, because the Migrant Workers Centre, we have a grassroots network of migrant workers themselves, whom we call MWC ambassadors. You may have heard of these ambassadors in news reports over the last 2 weeks. In all, they number about 5,000. They're all migrant workers themselves, mostly more experienced migrant workers that have been here maybe 6 to 8 years and above. And the bulk of them stay in the dormitories. And what we did was we did a lot of engagement with them when COVID-19 began, and in the lead up to what has happened in the dormitories, we actually pre-engaged all of them, and the purpose of doing that was to help us disseminate information on safe distancing, personal hygiene, things like that. The migrant workers, they are key ambassadors and advocates for us on the ground. They help disseminate messages for us very often. In the lead up to the gazetting of the dorms, we also briefed them that there's a possibility this might happen. And if it were to happen and they were isolated in any way, then they would have a very big responsibility to help take care of their brothers within the dorm. We continue to remain in contact with them even after the past teams have been. And in fact, I think they are key feedback channel for the multi-agency task force, trying to stabilize the situation on the ground, handle issues that may from time to time regarding food, regarding essentials, regarding mobile connectivity, all the basic items that would, needs to be addressed before you can start directing your mind or the migrant workers' attention towards themselves from COVID-19. So as we understand it, these issues have gradually stabilized in the last 2 weeks. Multi-agency task force has been taking our feedback generated from the ambassadors on the ground and addressing this situation systematically. The situation where today, I think most of the presented norms, the situation has largely stabilized. There are still issues that pop up from time to time, but we continue to provide feedback with the intention and the hope these will be addressed quickly so that we can start getting everyone concentrated on this COVID-19.
Right. Well, thank you so much, Bernard, for your time and for the work your organization does. We've been speaking to Bernard Menon, Executive Director of Migrant Workers Centre.
Thank you, guys.